Welcome to the treasure hunt of a lifetime. This is how a group of 5 men discovered a treasure trove buried in the middle of a Kansas cornfield. Today, we are in Kansas City visiting the Steamboat Arabia. We're going to learn more about this vessel that sank over 160 years ago. Let's dive into the history and the recovery of the largest collection of pre-Civil War artifacts in the world. Growing up, my dad and I would always stop at antique shops and yard sales, hunting for coins, cards, stamps, and any collectibles. And over the years, I have learned to recognize that feeling, the thrill of the hunt. So when I heard about this place from my friend Gary, I was all in. I want to know the whole story of this lost treasure and share it with you all. Hey guys, I'm Lydia Keene. I'm on a 3-month work trip traveling around the country in my camper van. Between gigs, I'm exploring some of the most interesting places in America. My friend Gary is joining me today. He is a fellow van lifer and a talented photographer who kindly let me camp out on his property while I'm passing through.
You gotta get that sunshine.
So before heading out on today's adventure, we brewed up some coffee, shared stories, and he even taught me how to drive a tractor.
The harder you push, the faster it goes.
Woohoo! And we're off. Going to the Steamboat Museum. At this point, I had no idea of what I was about to see and what an impact it would have on me. Gary just said, "I've got to show you this museum, you're gonna love it," and I just was along for the ride. Move this?
Yeah, it was abandoned and somebody said we could have it. So he and I went up there with a trailer and picked it up and brought it here.
Wow.
This is where traditionally all of the Benjamin was served.
We are here.
There are two kinds of river boats. The kind that have one big paddle in the back and side wheelers, which has one of these on each side.
We got our tickets and set out to learn the story. The Steamboat Arabia, built in 1853, was a 171-foot sidewheel steamboat that transported passengers and cargo along the Missouri River, one of the most challenging waterways of its time. On September 5th, 1856, the Arabia embarked on its final journey. Near present-day Kansas City, the steamboat struck a tree trunk and sank. All 130 passengers and crew survived, but more than 200 tons of cargo were lost to the river. The only casualty was a mule tied to the deck. Now, believe it or not, this journey actually began with fixing an air conditioner. In the 1980s, Bob Hawley, an air conditioning repairman, noticed pictures of steamboats and maps in a client's home, alongside maps of UFO and Bigfoot sightings. Intrigued, Bob shared this discovery with his sons, Greg and David. Together, they began researching old steamboat records and learned that the Missouri River, which had shifted over time, was full of sunken vessels. One of these was the Steamboat Arabia. Bob enlisted friends, including Jerry Mackey and David Luttrell, to join the search. Using old maps, local stories, and even a metal detector mounted on a truck, they pinpointed the likely location of the Arabia, in a Kansas cornfield far from the current river. Despite previous failed attempts by others to find the ship's treasure, the landowner allowed them to give it another try, saying,
"If you want to waste your time and your money, you go right ahead."
Now, the excavation that followed was a massive undertaking. After drilling a test hole and striking wood deep beneath the field, the team carefully outlined the ship's location. Encouraged by their findings, they began digging nonstop. 45 feet below the surface, they discovered the steamboat and its treasure trove of 1850s artifacts, perfectly preserved in mud. Now, the major challenge here was when they encountered an underground river beneath the site. To keep the area dry, they installed 65-foot deep wells and used 20 irrigation pumps to remove 20,000 gallons of water per minute, lowering the water table and preventing flooding.
This is not a normal well pump because this has to pump mud.
Wow.
That's all the motor and the pumps here. And
From November 1988 to February 1989, the excavation took about 4.5 months. Their efforts uncovered 200 tons of cargo, including food, tools, and personal belongings, all astonishingly well preserved. And today, these artifacts are all on display here, offering a rare glimpse into life and trade in the 1850s. They said that this is the largest collection of pre-Civil War artifacts in the world. Oh my gosh. This is treasure. It's so amazing, guys. You can see the team still working to preserve the thousands of shoes and other artifacts from the shipwreck. It's incredible to watch the process up close. After excavation, the shoes were frozen, treated with a preservative, and freeze-dried to prevent damage. Some items are still being rebuilt, and full preservation may take another 10 to 12 years, giving you a real sense of the care that goes into preserving these pieces of history.
$0.50, London Porter pint, 31 cents.
So it's the same, so it means London Porter pints.
It means the word above.
But it's just saving print.
Yep.
So DO means do over.
The river water had washed away the majority of the boat's contents. The treasure seekers recovered the boiler and single engine you see before you, which had somehow remained affixed to the ship. This engine is considered one of the oldest maritime steam engines in the world.
Three big ones are the boilers, and in front of that are the pumps that pump the water into the boiler.
Wow.
The boat sank. It's a cold river water. It's the hot boiler, and then it explodes. It starts sinking. Your immediate goal is to get away from the boiler.
Thanks to an air conditioner repairman's curiosity and a team of determined treasure hunters, the Arabia's story came back to life, and now stands as one of the most remarkable archaeological finds in American history. Visiting the museum, I couldn't help but feel that same excitement I had as a kid and still get today when I'm hunting for gems in antique shops. The artifacts on display here are more than just relics. They are stories from the past that connect us to the lives of people who lived along the Missouri River in the 1850s. Each item is a piece of history, and seeing them up close was a reminder of how a little curiosity can go such a long way. So, if you are a lover of history and you're passing through Kansas City, the Steamboat Arabia Museum is the place to be. And maybe, just maybe, the treasure hunter within you will awaken.
Okay, why is Kansas City mostly in Missouri?
When Kansas City was founded as a riverboat trading post, there was no Kansas. Across the river was Nebraska territory, which included what is now the state of Kansas.
Fun facts, guys. That was a good one. That was a really good one.
So we are back at the ranch, and I think, well, right now we're trying to figure out what this tree is. But, yes, then I think I'm going to take off and do my Planet Fitness, head on out to Colorado, and figure it out from here. Yeah. This is a sweet gum tree. Look at that. What? Just taking off now. Bye to Gary. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. It is such a gift to be able to share this with you. And be sure to stay tuned for next week's episode, because right now I am driving from Kansas City to Colorado to explore. You won't want to miss it. I am camping out at a truck stop, and I'll see you in the morning. Thank you guys. Love you. This is Lydia Keene here. Over and out. Bye.